All right, so welcome to class, everybody. If you're joining us later for the recording, welcome. My name is Anne. All you need today for your class, 2 small hand weights. Try to keep it under 5 pounds, and we'll get ready. So go ahead, lie down onto the back of your body, and that is where we will start today. Okay, so once you're on the back of your body, take a shape that suits you. So if it's your legs all the way out long, wonderful. Knees could definitely be bent, feet flat on the floor. And arms could even relax out beside you, or even to a nice wide T right away, getting that shoulder opening stretch across the chest. And then if it's comfortable in your body, I invite you to close your eyes or just soften your gaze. Okay, and then from this space on the back of your body, we'll start to breathe together. So take a moment here and empty all the air from your lungs. Just let it go. And then start to invite a nice deep inhale through your nose. Once you're filled to the top of your lungs, nice slow exhale, release by the mouth. We'll do that about 2 or 3 more times. Find a pace that suits you. So take a full and long inhale through your nose. And then a long sigh, exhale, release. Good, one more time like that. Deep breath in, fill up your chest, your ribs, your belly. And then a long, slow exhale, release. And then just relax your breath. Let it become a little bit more natural, but still being aware of it. So still getting that full capacity through the lungs, through the chest as you inhale. And as you exhale, maybe finding that little bit of contraction through the low belly, the rib cage. And then start to invite little bits of movement to your body. Maybe it's just wiggling fingers, toes. You can circle your wrists, your ankles. Maybe move the head and neck side to side just a couple times, freeing up a little bit of space there. And then arrive into stillness. Go ahead, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor if they're not there already. Heels about hip bone distance apart and just underneath your knees, or maybe scooting a little bit further forward if that's better for the low back this morning. On your next breath in, start to tilt your pelvis forward in space, arching your low back just a little bit away from the floor. As you exhale, rock your hip bones back in, press your low back gently against your mat. We'll rock forward and back a few more times, so with the inhale, go forward. And as you exhale, a gentle tilt and rock back in space. Inhale again, forward. And exhale to rock and tuck back. Find 2 more like that, your own breath, your own pace, little self-massage through your lower back. And after you've found those 2, arrive into your neutral. So just let your low back relax into its natural resting place. From here, start to send your left leg long and then your right leg, so both legs are pretty long. At any point, if that does feel uncomfortable or unneeded tension in your low back, you're welcome to rebend your knees at any point. With the legs long, send your arms up towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, lift the arms up even more so your shoulder blades start to lift and peel away. As you exhale, melt your arms and your shoulder blades all the way back down. Inhale again, a little lift and reach up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, melt and relax all the way down. 2 more times like that. Inhale, a little lift, shoulder blades pull apart. Exhale, melting down, pressing down. 1 more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, melt down, and keep them down. On the next breath in, now we're going to reach the arms up overhead, big stretch. As you exhale, circle your arms wide and around towards your hips. Inhale, lift the arms up through center, all the way back overhead. And then exhale, nice big wide circle around. 1 more in that direction. Inhale to lift. Exhale to circle. Pause once you reach the top. Take a breath in. Now as you exhale, float the arms down by your hips, just switching the direction of your circle. Circle wide to your ears. Inhale through center. And then exhale, circle wide and around. Last one in that direction. Once you completed your circle, again, we'll pause with the arms lifted towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulder blades down if they're starting to lift. On the inhale now, we're going to open the arms nice and wide to a big T. As you exhale, lift the arms up through center, cross them over your chest. Inhale again, open wide. And then exhale again, cross the arms over your chest, opposite hand to opposite shoulder. Just giving yourself a little squeeze. 2 more times like that. Inhale to get wide. And then exhale, scoop and hug in. Last time, inhale, open wide. This time, as you exhale, arms come up and cross over your chest. Grab opposite hand to opposite shoulder. And we're just going to start to rock our upper back across the floor. So you can decide which direction you go first. It doesn't really matter. Just rolling the weight of the body into one shoulder. The opposite shoulder will lift a little away from the floor. And then a nice rock back through center over to the other side. Just rolling through your upper back a couple more times. If it feels good, allow the head and neck to move a little bit as your upper back kind of sways side to side. Good. Just opening up through our low back. And then come on back through center. Release the grip of the arms. You can relax your arms down by your sides for a moment. Maybe even give them a little bit of a shake. Good. With the legs still long, let's take the arms up overhead. Reach. Get really, really, really long, like a good morning stretch. And then bring the hands behind your head, elbows wide. Slight nod of your chin towards your chest. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, start to peel your upper body straight up in space. Inhale to lower back all the way. And then again, exhale, starting to nod the chin, peel the upper body up, up, up. And then inhale to release all the way back and down. Good, so just moving into our classic ab curl or chest lift with the legs long if you can. Inhale to release and lower. Exhale to lift. For now, your lower half, your legs, your bum, is pretty heavy and relaxed. So notice if you're starting to tense through your calves, your thighs, or your bum as you lift your upper body. Try to send a little memo down to the low body to relax just a little bit. Ideally, we're not putting too much tension through the low back. It's resting still in its neutral position as you go up and down with your upper body. We're going to find 3 more lifts just like that. Inhale to go back all the way. And then exhale to peel and lift. Last 2. On the last one, we're going to hold our curl at the top. Hold here, elbows wide. Find little pulses at the top of your ab curl. That's it. Little tiny pulses straight up towards your ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, we're just going to hold the lift. Stay there at the top. Get really heavy into your left leg and lift your right leg just to a little hover above the floor, maybe 2-3 inches. Inhale, just the leg lowers down. Exhale, we'll switch. Left leg will lift and hover, and then lower it all the way down. Couple more times for each leg, a little lift and hover, and release. Try to keep the upper body as lifted as it can be here. You'll get a little break in 3. Last 2. Last little leg lift. Keep that leg hovering. Let's make that your right leg. So if it's not your right leg hovering, bring the right leg to hover. Release the head and chest back. Take a big breath there. On your exhale, lift the head and chest straight up. Pull the right knee into a tabletop position. So knee will bend over top of the hip. Inhale, send just the right leg long and low to a hover. And then exhale, bend and pull the knee back into table. Inhale, just your leg. Release long. And then exhale, pull it back in. Every time the knee comes in, see if you can lift your upper body just a smidge higher. We'll move the leg in and out for 3. Left leg is heavy. Last 2. Last one, we're going to pause with the knee bent in. Lift the upper body just a little higher. Now as you inhale, straighten and lower the leg and lower your chest halfway back. Exhale, lift your chest, pull your knee to center. Good, so lower body and upper body moving together now. Inhale, lengthen and lower. Exhale to peel up. We'll find 3 more like that, then we're adding a twist to the right. Last 2. Last one, peel everything up through center, knee to tabletop. Twist your upper body towards your right bent knee. Inhale, just the chest, come back through center, stay lifted. Exhale again, twist right. Inhale through center. Exhale 2 more times, twist over to the right. Come back through center. Last time, twist right, hold here. Maybe reach your left arm forward so it's outside your right thigh. Find little tiny pulses to the left, to the right. Keeping your left leg still, right knee in tabletop. Pulse here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, bring your upper body up through center, arm lifted towards the ceiling. Inhale, release, lower back, arm overhead, leg long. Exhale, lift up and twist to the right. So everything together. Inhale, lower everything away and down. Exhale, come up and twist. Take your time with this one. It's a lot of stuff going on here. We're going to find 3 more like that. Inhale to reach, lengthen, get long. Exhale, big lift, big twist to the right. Last 2. On the last one, let's hold in our twist. Come up, twist to the right. Just hold, just breathe here for 5. Reach and twist a little higher for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release everything back and down. Take a nice big stretch. Maybe release both arms overhead. And just wiggle out the legs. Maybe give them a little shake side to side. A moment here to reset before we head on over to that left side. Maybe rock your hips a little bit side to side. And then once you're ready, find stillness again through center. Bring the hands behind the head. Interlace your fingers if that suits you. Nodding chin to chest, take a big breath in. As you exhale, peel the upper body straight up. We'll reset with 3 more ab curls here through center. Exhale, peel and lift the upper body. And then inhale, release back. 2 more. Both legs are long and heavy on the floor for now. On this last ab curl, let's hold at the top. Hold lifted here. Right leg will remain heavy as you hover the left leg. Bend and pull that left knee into tabletop. And then inhale, send just the left leg long and low to a hover. Exhale again, bend and pull the left knee in. And then inhale to release and lengthen. Upper body still. We'll move the left leg for 3. Last 2. Last 1. Bring the leg back to tabletop. Lift your chest a little higher. Breathe in. Start to lower the leg and the chest at the same time. Use your exhale to peel everything up through center. Inhale, reach out and lengthen. And then exhale, pull everything in. Find 3 more like that. Chest and leg moving together. See if you could soften the right leg a little bit more. Last one, let's hold through center here. We're going to twist over to the left on your next exhale. Twist left. Inhale, come back through center, just the chest moving for now. Exhale again, let's lift and twist to the left. Inhale, roll back through center. 3 more, twisting left and back. Last 2. On the last one, hold your twist, little pulses. Keep your left knee stacked right over the hip. It might be creeping in a little bit. That's totally natural. Pulse for 3, 2, 1. Come on back through center. Send your right arm up to the ceiling this time. Inhale, reach back, lower down, lengthen your leg out to a hover. And then exhale, come up and over, twist left. Inhale again, everything reaches away and long. And then exhale, big lift, big twist. And of course, if it feels better for the right knee to be bent, foot on the floor, you can take that option here as well. We're going to find 3 more big lifts, big twists to the left. Last 2. Last one, we're gonna hold in that twist to the left, just holding, no movement, static and still, keep breathing. Just for 5, 4, 3, maybe reach a little further for 2, and 1. Come on back through center, release again, everything long. Maybe once more, taking that full body stretch, arms overhead, legs long. From here, separate your legs just a little bit. We'll take it into just a wee stretch. So legs about as wide as your mat, if that suits you. Arms overhead. Take your left wrist into your right hand and lift your upper body so you're putting it kind of towards the top right corner of your mat. And then take your left leg, cross the left ankle over top of your right. So you're just moving into this cute little banana shape to the right. Upper body can relax heavy down onto the mat, including your arms, so just let the elbows soften a little bit and take a couple breaths here. And then start to release that, so left leg over to the left corner, upper body comes through center, switch the grip of your wrists. So left hand grabbing right wrist, move your upper body to the left corner, and then bring that right leg up and over your left ankle. Find your little bend to the left. All right, and then come on back through center, upper body through center, uncross your ankles. We'll bend the knees, place the feet back on the floor, about hip bone distance apart once again. Arms by your sides just for now. We'll take a few pelvic tilts to rinse out the low back, so as you inhale, rock your pelvis forward once again, and then exhale, a little tuck back. 2 more like that, inhale, rock forward, and exhale, tuck back. Last time, little arch forward, and release. Once again, arrive into your neutral spine. Open your arms out to a wide T. If you don't have space for that, a cactus shape is fine. Elbows bent at shoulder height. Palms may be facing up towards the ceiling if you prefer that, or palms can definitely come down if that helps you feel a little bit more grounded and stable through your shoulders, through your chest. We're going to take a big breath in. As you exhale, float your right leg to tabletop. Another big breath in. As you exhale, draw your low belly in and float the left leg to tabletop. Knees are still stacked just over top of your hips. There might be a little distance between them. On your next inhale, tap your right toes down towards the front edge of your mat, and then exhale, draw the right knee back through center. Inhale, we'll switch. Left toes tap down and away, and then exhale, drawing back. Good, and then we're just gonna continue that. Little alternating toe dip side to side, or toe tap. That's the word I wanted. And while you move through this, just checking in with your low back, seeing if it's still in neutral. So there's that little arch of space between the low back and the floor, and we're gonna try and work in a range for the legs where we can maintain that for the next little bit. If you come out of the neutral spine, not really a big deal, it's just what we're working towards. So you'll probably notice to maintain that, you might not get the toes all the way down to the floor. And you're gonna find that sensation, that contraction of the low belly and the rib cage towards center as you exhale. Good, let's find one more tap for each side, lower and lift. Last time, tap down and lift. So both legs back to tabletop. This time we're gonna glue the legs together. So the knees, the ankles, the inner thighs, give a little squeeze towards center. If you want, maybe point from ankles to toes, find a little flexion through the feet. On the next inhale, tap both sets of toes down and away, and then exhale, draw the knees back to center. Same principles here, low back is gonna try and stay in neutral. So for this one, I definitely can't get my toes down to the floor without having a big rock and arch of my low back. So I'm gonna keep the movement just a little bit smaller. And mostly that change has happened because we've doubled the load for our low belly, our low abs to lift. So the low back is trying to move and help us out a little bit, but we actually just wanted to just relax for this one. Yeah, 2 more times like that. Inhale, tap down and away. And then exhale, slow draw back through center. 1 more time, tap the toes down. Slowest one yet, draw the knees back through center. If you need a little release for the hips, just take a quick hug of knees to chest, rock out your low back side to side. And then bring the knees back to a tabletop position once more. This time, while they're in tabletop, intentionally rock your pelvis in, let your low back lengthen, and press down against the floor. Lift both legs up towards the ceiling, straight legs if they're available, or bent knees is totally fine. From here, we're going to lower the legs just a few inches down towards the floor, and then exhale, lift them straight back towards the ceiling. Inhale again, both legs start to lower a little, and then exhale, they lift. Good. For the next little bit, we're going to try and keep the imprinted position now. So instead of that little gap of space between low back and the floor, we're going to try and keep the low back as long and pressed down as it can be. Again, so if it feels okay in the low back, start to drop the legs a little lower. Maybe aim for halfway to the floor and then back towards the ceiling. Maybe you add some foot movement as you lower, flex your feet. Exhale, point ankles to toes and lift. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point and lift. And absolutely, you can use upper body here for support. So get really active with your arms, your shoulder blades, the back of your body. Press everything down towards your mat. We'll find 2 more like that. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point, lift. Last one, lower. Slowest one yet. Lift, 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 lift through center. Bend your knees into your chest again. Take a little relief there. Hip flexors are also getting a good work with that one. One more time, we'll send the legs up towards the ceiling. Your choice if the arms are again out wide or maybe arms are by your sides. Start with the legs lifted towards the ceiling, legs together. Start to lower the legs about halfway down. Once they're there, we're going to circle the legs wide and around. Bring them together up towards the ceiling. So we'll start to lower down on the inhale. Exhale, find a wide circle, up and around. 2 more in that direction. Inhale, lower. Exhale, circle out. Last one, inhale, lower. Exhale, circle out. Legs meet together at the top. Big breath in. We'll switch the direction. So start to circle wide and down. Legs come together at the bottom and you lift. Inhale to circle wide. And then exhale to find that squeeze and lift through center. Just 2 more here. Go slow. Last one, circle it out. Back through center. Lift all the way up. We're going to lower the legs halfway down. Hold here. We're just going to flutter the legs. So crossing one leg over the other. Maybe lowering the legs a little bit lower if you can. Low back still pressing down against the floor. We'll flutter here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug the knees all the way into your chest. Rock the low back a little side to side again if that feels good, or any other stretch. And then I'll be nice. I'm not going to make you roll up right now. Cross out your ankles, hands behind the thighs. Start to rock and roll a little bit along the length of your spine if it feels all right. If not, you're just going to press yourself up to seated. Build a little momentum in your rocking until finally you roll all the way up. And then once you're there, we'll come into seated. So if you do have 2 small hand weights, you have the option to add them in. So grabbing 1 weight in each hand, I'm going to face you guys. So for this series, you can either have your knees bent or legs out in front of you, and you can kind of alternate between the 2, whatever suits you the best as we move through this. Start with the arms out, find a nice tall spine. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, shrug your shoulders down away from the ears and start to hinge back in space, maintaining that flat neutral spine. As you exhale, draw yourself all the way back up to seated. And again, exhale, we'll hinge and tilt back a little bit, and then come right back up. 2 more times like that. Maybe try one with the knees bent, try one with the legs long, see what feels a little bit better today in your low back. The next time you hinge back, we're going to hold and pause there. Take a big breath in. As you exhale now, find an intentional tuck of your tailbone. Allow your low back to round a little bit. Round your back. Reach your arms forward. Just hold and breathe here. Holding for 3. Maybe lower back an inch for 2. On 1, let's roll and stack the spine all the way up to seated. Take a big breath in. Exhale, we'll move a little faster through that. So let's hinge back. Begin to tuck and roll right away, round into your C curve. And then use your inhale to roll up to seated. Exhale again, start with that little hinge. Tuck, round, roll about halfway back. And then inhale, draw up through center. One more like that, hinge back, little tuck, little round, and then let's hold in that half roll back. At any point, if rounding the spine like this doesn't feel great, feel free to just come into that neutral hinge back. So you choose. From this space, we're gonna inhale, lift both arms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, both arms come back in front of the chest. Inhale again, both arms lift, and exhale, they lower at the same time. Take notice if the upper body, especially the chest, is popping forward with the arms as they reach up. We're gonna try and keep the chest pulling back in space. So we're maintaining either that C curve or we're maintaining that neutral spine, whichever one you've decided to be in today. One more like this. Let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling, hold here. Shoulders shrug down a little bit, just hold and breathe for 3. For 2, 1, arms lower first, and then roll and stack the spine up. Maybe roll forward this time. Arms can lower, weights can lower as you release your spine. Big breath in through your nose, and a big breath out by your mouth. Good. Place your weights off on either side of the mat. We're going to make our way forward into a tabletop position. So it's an excellent point if you want a little sip of water, a little coffee or tea, if you need to shed some layers. And then once you're all set, let's meet in that tabletop position. So wrists are going to be underneath your shoulders, knees about hip bone distance apart. At any point in this series, if you want to make your way down to forearms, if that's a better option today, you're welcome to do that as well. So from your hands or forearms, take a big breath in. As you exhale, roll your shoulders back, start to lift your chest towards the ceiling, look up, maybe lift your tailbone a little, and then use your inhale to nod the chin, tuck the tailbone around your spine. Exhale, let's press forward, chest lifts, tail lifts, and then inhale to round it out. Couple more times like that, finding your cat and cow. If that breath pattern doesn't work for you, just breathe through it. One more round, inhale, and exhale. From here, find your neutral spine. So your gaze is straight forward, the back is relatively flat, but there is that connection through your abdominals, low belly drawing in, rib cage pulling towards center. From here, we're gonna hover the right hand and left knee just an inch or two above the mat, opposite hand and knee, and then lower that hand and knee down. Exhale, we'll switch, left hand, right knee, lift and hover, and then inhale to lower down. We'll alternate through that hand and knee hover a couple more times, so take your time. There's no rush. We're just kind of testing out the balance and practicing stabilizing our spine here. So trying to not find too much movement through the trunk of our body. It's just a little lift and lower of the limbs. The next time you have your right hand, left knee hovering, hold there. So let's give everybody a second to find that. Right hand, left knee hovering. Now as you inhale, lengthen the arm forward, lengthen the leg back, lift them up in line with your body. Inhale, we're gonna bend the elbow in, bend the knee in, but keep your spine pretty neutral. So try not to round for this one. Inhale, arm and leg will reach forward and away. And then exhale, they'll pull in through center. Keep going with that side. Inhale to reach, get long, and then exhale, pull in. If you're on your forearms and this doesn't feel great to have both arm and leg moving, it's a little bit more awkward. Find maybe 2 or 3 where it's just your leg moving, and then 2 or 3 where it's just the arm moving. Good, last 2. Last one, let's reach away and then hold there. So arm lifted, leg long behind you. Reach from your fingertips to the toes, get really, really long. At the same time, press down to your left hand, your right foot, your right shin. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw your elbow, your knee in. This time let your spine round. Inhale, reach away, get long. And then exhale, draw everything in, let the spine round. So a little bit more movement and freedom through the spine for the last 2. And last one, hug everything in. And then just release that hand and knee back down. Sit your bum back to child's pose. Take a little stretch, relief for your shoulders, your wrists, whatever you gotta do. And then we'll come forward and start our second side. So from your hands and knees or from your forearms, let's hover the left hand, right knee. Hold here for a moment. Find your balance through the right hand, the left knee, left foot. As you inhale now, start to reach and lengthen everything away. Exhale, pull the knee and elbow in towards center, keeping spine neutral. Inhale again, we reach. And then exhale, pull everything in. 3 more like that. Maybe finding a moment to pause as the limbs move away. Find that big reach. And then exhale, pull everything in, staying nice and stable. Let's reach out one more time and then find that hold. Reach and lengthen from your left fingertips down to your right toes. Keep reaching for 3, 2. On 1, elbow and knee come together. This time spine will round. Inhale, reach away, lengthen. And then exhale, pull everything in. 2 more times to reach. And exhale, pull in. Last 2. Last one, reach away. Pull everything in, squeeze through center. And then release. Hand down, knee down. Sit your bum back to your child's pose. You can move your hips a little bit side to side if that feels good. Maybe roll out your wrists a couple times. And then we're going to make our way onto our right side body. So take a moment to come all the way down onto the right side. If you do have a cushion or pillow that you want to place underneath your right ear for a little bit of support, that's fine. A block could also work there underneath your head. Otherwise, you can just lay your head on your bottom arm or all the way down. So once you're on your side body, we're going to bend the knees out in front of us like we're sitting in a little wee chair. Knees in line with your hips and shins pretty much in line with your knees. Top hand to your top hip and just give it a little tug away so you've got that sensation of both hip bones stacked one on top of the other. Low belly's drawing in, rib cage is drawing in on your exhale. Nothing's changed there. So take a full breath in. On your exhale, lift your left leg just to about hip height. Use your inhale to lower that leg down all the way nice and slow. And then exhale to lift. Inhale, lower down. Let that top bum, glute release a little bit on the lower. Exhale, little contraction to lift. On the way down, on that little release for the glute, I like to think of the sit bones, your bum kind of fanning out behind you, spreading wide. And then just like the top of a squat, as you lift, the bum squeezes a little bit towards center. Good. Slower is usually better for this one than faster, so pair it with the pace of your breath. In 3, we're going to hold the leg lifted at the top and we'll find little tiny pulses up to the ceiling. Last 2. Last one, keep the leg lifted at about hip height. Foot is pretty soft, it's just dangling there. Then find your little pulses straight up. Top hand is still on your top hip. Keep giving it that little tug further away. Trying to avoid that sinking of the top hip in towards your bottom rib. We want to keep that distance we created at the start. Good. Continue little pulses just for 3, 2, 1. Hold lifted. We're going to start to circle the knee forward, down, and around. Maybe starting with a smaller circle, working your way up a little bit bigger. But if it feels better to keep it in the small range today, that's fine as well. Last circle in this direction. Let's pause through center and then switch, go the other way. Again, maybe start a little smaller. And then starting to work your way up to a little bit bigger circle. Last two. Last one, lift the leg back to about hip height. Both legs are stacked. Start to draw the knee in towards your chest a little bit. As you exhale, flex your foot, press through your heels, spread your toes, and send your leg long and away. Inhale, start to point ankles to toes, bring the knee in towards the chest just a little. Exhale, flex the foot, straighten the leg all the way out. Good. Inhale to draw in. Exhale to press and straighten. Again, hips here not really moving a whole lot, maybe a teeny tiny bit. Keep the leg up at hip height just for 3. For 2. For this last one, we're going to straighten out the leg, hold there. Leg at hip height, foot flexed. Find little pulses straight up and up. Try to keep the knee and the thigh bone pointed straight ahead or parallel. Sometimes the knee will turn up or down, so just try to level it out. We'll pause for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause here. Start to float the leg forward in front of you. Give 2 little kicks at the front, and then point from ankles to toes as you send your leg back behind you, a little kick. Inhale, start to flex, glide forward. Once you're there, 2 little kicks, and then exhale, point and glide back. To stabilize our hips here, we're going to press down into the bottom leg, that bent knee on the floor. Keep pressing it down. And you're always welcome to make this movement quite a bit smaller as well. We'll do this one more time. Flex, come forward, kick, kick. And then point and go back. Hold the point, hold the leg back in space. Lift a little higher. Just hold and breathe here for 3, for 2, and 1. Start to bend that knee, place the leg all the way down, and you can tap out your side hip, side glute. We'll roll onto our bellies for a moment here. We'll do a little bit of prone work before we flip on over to our second side. So from your bellies, take your hands just about shoulder distance or a little bit wider, so hands could be off the mat if that feels better for the shoulders. Head heavy on the ground, nose and chin tapping down. Take a moment to maybe just wiggle your hips side to side. Release any tension from the low back, from that outer hip. And then find stillness in center. Actively press your hip bones and your pubic bone down towards the mat. Draw your low belly in. Pull the rib cage towards center as much as you can. It does feel a little bit more difficult when we're in our front. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, press into your hands. Slowly start to hover your head, your chest just an inch or 2 above the floor. And then inhale, release. Bring your head and chest all the way down. Exhale again, a little press of your hands, your forearms against the floor as you hover head and chest. And then inhale, release. We'll do that 2 more times. As your head and chest lift, shoulders draw back a little bit away from the ears, so just let them soften. The next time you hover head and chest, pause, hold here. Maybe start to send your gaze a little forward in space. So that's already a back bend, just looking forward. That's bending through our cervical spine, our neck. If that feels okay, you can make this a little bit bigger. So take a breath in. As you exhale, start to press into your hands. Start to lift your forearms maybe, moving into a bigger back bend. And then use your inhale to bend the elbows. Slowly roll all the way down. Couple more times like that. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, press into your hands. Hover head and chest, look forward. Keep exhaling as you press and lift a little higher if you want. Inhale to rebend the elbows and release all the way down. Find a couple more rounds like that. Finding a range for your back bend that feels suitable for you today. Doesn't feel like compression or ouchies in the back. And it can be as small, again, as looking forward in space, just to the top edge of your mat. Good. Finish here, one more. And then take a release. Come all the way down to the mat. Rest your right ear on the ground. Look over your left shoulder. Big breath in and big breath out. Switch sides. Bring your left ear onto the floor. Look over your right shoulder. And again, just a big breath here. And then come on back through center. Let's roll onto that second side. So if you were following along with me, we are now going to be lying down on the tender glute, so on your left glute, so we can work the right side. Again, find your chair position, knees bent out in front of you, hips are stacked. So maybe taking top hand to top waist, giving it that little tug. Draw your low belly and your rib cage back in space. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, lift your top leg to about hip height. And then inhale, take your time to come all the way down, fan your sit bones. And then again, exhale, lifting up, up, up. And lower. Top hand could remain there on your top waist, just kind of tracking and seeing if the hips are staying stacked. Or if you want more tactile feedback, just feeling that muscle that we're working, placing your hand along your outer hip or your outer butt cheek. Sometimes that physical connection helps deepen our mental connection, and it just helps to fire up our muscles even further. I think we all know that we can half-ass a lot of things, so sometimes that really direct line of connection helps us to actually engage and work through the proper muscle groups that we're looking for. Good. 2 more times like that. We'll lower all the way and lift to hip height. Last time, lower. Fan your sit bones, spread them wide. And then exhale, lift, hold there. Maybe lift just a millimeter higher, back up to hip height. Find your little pulses straight up. It's funny I said half-ass, but we're kind of actually only working half of our bum. It's actually kind of a true statement, but you know what I mean. We can mentally tap out of things quite easily. Good. Pulsing up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause lifted. Start your circles forward, down, and around. Remind this top foot to be a little bit heavy. It's not pointed or flexed at the moment. Just let it be soft. I find that adds a little bit more work again for this specific top hip, top glute. Let's reverse that. Start to go the other way. Maybe starting small once again, and gradually working up to some bigger circles. Find 2 more. Last one, all the way around. And then let's pause, bring that leg back into center, hip height for a moment. Start to flex the foot, bring the knee in towards the chest a little. And then exhale, keep that flex, send the leg long and away. Start to point ankles to toes as you bring the knee in. And then exhale, flex and press, press, press. With this bigger movement for the leg, it tends to drop our leg a little bit closer towards the floor. So try and maintain that height, that hip height for this leg. Actively starting to press down into that bottom leg. It's going to start to help us out in a moment. Last 2, bring the knee in, point your foot. Exhale, flex and press away. Last time like that, inhale to bend and pull in. Exhale, flex, press out all the way out this time. Flex your foot. Start to glide it forward on the inhale, 2 little kicks. And then exhale to point and glide the leg back. Inhale, flex, come forward. And then bend and point back. Good. Keep pressing your bottom foot and leg into the floor for support. But also, again, making this range smaller if it needs to be to avoid that big rock forward and back with hips. They're going to stay relatively still. Good, let's do that 2 more times. All the way forward, little kicks, and then point all the way back. Last time, come forward. Draw all the way back, hold there, leg in line with hip, lift it a little higher, flex your foot, and we'll pulse here. Little lift straight up and up. Knee and thigh facing forward. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring that leg all the way down. Bend the knee. Tap it out. And then go ahead and roll over to your back body. So come onto your backs when you're ready. Our glutes are starting to get nice and warm now. Let's take the feet about hip bone distance to start. Heels underneath the knees or a little further forward. Arms by your sides. Inhale, rock your pelvis a little forward. Exhale, rock back. Just one more time like that. Inhale, tilt forward. Exhale, tilt back. Keep the tilt of your pelvis. Take an extra breath of air. On your exhale, this time press into your feet, your hands, your arms. Slowly start to peel your bum and your spine away from the mat. Moving into your first bridge. Really press down through your feet. Press your upper back down against the floor. Big breath in here. And then exhale, slowly start to melt the spine down 1 bone at a time. Release your hips once you reach the bottom and rock forward. Inhale. Exhale, rock back. Press into your feet. Tuck, curl, and press your hips up. Take a big breath in at the top. And then exhale to melt all the way down. We'll do that 1 more time, but this time we're going to stay at the top of our lift. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. Tuck, curl, press. Lift your hips on up into bridge and stay there. You can keep your arms here on the ground for support, but at any point if you want to increase the load for your glutes, you're going to lift your arms up towards the ceiling and just use the feet and legs for support. But if you need the arms there, absolutely they can stay. Take a big breath in. Start to lower your hips down towards the floor so the bum hovers. And then exhale, press into your feet and lift straight back up. Inhale, hinging from your hip creases this time. Lower, bum hovers. And then exhale, press and lift. So that's your movement for now. Lower and hover. Squeeze your glutes as you lift to the top. Just checking in with some points as we move through this. As you lift your hips up to the top of your bridge, notice if the rib cage is starting to lift away from the floor. This is more like a yogi bridge, which can feel like a nice big stretch. But today we're going to try and keep the rib cage down on the floor to, again, increase the engagement through our glutes. So inhale to lower, drop the bum. Exhale, squeeze and lift. We'll do that 3 more times. Lower and lift. Down and up. For the last one, we're going to hold lifted at the top. Find little pulses of your hips up towards the ceiling. Good. Little squeeze up and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the lift. Lift your right heel just to a hover and then lower the right heel down. Left heel will lift and lower. Sometimes scooting your feet a little bit closer towards the bum feels a little better for the legs. So continue lifting one heel at a time and release. Keeping the bum lifted nice and high. Notice if it's starting to drop. The next time you have both heels on the ground, keep them there. Take a big breath of air. On the exhale, both heels will lift at the same time. And then release. Both heels lift and release. Let's find 3 more like that. Last 2. Last one, both heels lift, pause here. Start to lower the bum down just to a hover and then lift straight back up. Heels will stay lifted if you can. Lower down and hover and then squeeze and lift. Good. The legs and bum are probably feeling a little bit shaky, so if the arms need to or want to come down to the floor for a little extra support here, that is totally welcome. Good. In 3, we're going to keep the hips up and find little pulses once again towards the ceiling. Last 2. Last one, lift, hold here at the top, little pulses. This is where we'll finish with our little glute series. Pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just hold lifted, everything lifted. Hips, heels up, just hold and breathe. For 3, for 2, 1. Heels down first and then roll your spine all the way back down to the mat. Hug knees to chest, maybe one hand to each knee, and go for a few wide circles of your knees. And then switch the direction, start to go the other way. And then start to send your legs nice and long on the mat, one leg at a time. Grab for your weights, hopefully they're beside you. Arms lift up towards the ceiling. Legs can be a little bit apart or they can be together. We're going to prepare to roll up. So find your position. Take a big breath in, arms lifted. On your exhale, nod chin to chest, lift your shoulder blades, and start to peel and curl yourself forward. Drawing your belly back, go as slow as you need to until you roll all the way up. Once you're there, take a nice big dive over your thigh bones, letting your spine round forward. Inhale, roll all the way up, shoulders shrug back. Exhale, start to tuck your tailbone. Slow and controlled, roll and release all the way down to the mat. Once the shoulder blades, the head come down, arms lift overhead, big reach. Exhale, arms float up, nod chin to chest, start to scoop your belly. Keep the exhale going as you round and roll. We'll do that one more time. Inhale to stack. Exhale, hinge back, tuck, round, roll all the way. Nice and slow. Inhale at the bottom, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, arms float up, nod chin to chest. Last time, scoop your belly. Round and roll forward. You can pop your weights off on either side of your mat. You can cross at your ankles if that feels okay. Come forward again, once again, to hands and knees. We're not here for too long on this one. Take a big breath in, shrug your shoulders back, lift your chest, your tailbone, and your gaze. As you exhale, round your spine. Inhale again, press forward and arch. And then exhale, round it out. Last time like that, press forward. And exhale, round. Lengthen your spine out to neutral, tuck your toes right away, all 10 of them. Take a big breath in. Exhale, pull your belly back, lift both knees to hover. Inhale, tap the knees down. And then again, exhale, knees lift and hover. 2 more. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Last time, tap down. Exhale, lift, hold here, just breathe. Knees hovering an inch or 2 above the floor. Shoulder blades pulling apart at the back of the body. Breathing for 3. For 2. On 1, start to straighten your legs. Lift your hips as high as they can go. Big breath here. Maybe step your feet back a little bit further in space, creating a little bit more stretch for the spine. Maybe pedal out your feet one at a time. You can let your head, your neck hang heavy here. If the down dog doesn't feel great, you're more than welcome to take child's pose or any other stretch that feels good. From your down dog, take a big breath in, lift both heels quite a bit, bend your knees, and then press your belly button towards your thighs. Inhale, start to straighten your legs, lower your heels any amount. Ripple through your legs, roll your body weight forward out to a high plank. Take a big breath here. Exhale, start to pull your belly back, lift your hips back. Find that little bend of the knees at the top, belly to thighs. Straighten your legs. Use your next exhale to ripple the spine forward to your high plank. Let's do that 2 more times. Send your hips up and back. Once you're there, bend the knees, lift the heels. Straighten through the legs. Take your time to ripple through the spine to plank. Last time, we'll wave it back. Bend the knees. Straighten the legs. Ripple it forward. Good. Hold here in your plank for 5. Belly drawing back, hips in line with shoulders for 4. Keep breathing for 3. Last 2. On the last one, wave your hips back. And then slowly start to walk your feet maybe a step or 2 in at a time. And then walk your hands back to your heels. Meet yourself in a forward fold towards the back edge of your mat. Let your head heavy. Maybe grab for opposite elbows and find a little sway of your upper body side to side. Find stillness through center. Take a big breath in. Release the grip of your elbows. As you exhale, slowly start to roll up through your spine. So start to tilt your tailbone down and stack your spine vertebrae by vertebrae till you come all the way up to the top. Once you're there, we'll take a big lift of the arms up overhead. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Take a little side bend to the right. Inhale, come all the way up through center. Exhale, we'll switch. Grabbing your right wrist, little bend to the left. And then back through center. Take your hands behind your head, elbows wide. As you inhale, press your chest forward, look up. As you exhale, bring your elbows towards you as you round forward. Inhale, press up through center. Release the grip of your hands. One last time, lift the arms up towards the ceiling, reach. As you exhale, palms will plant together. Slowly bend your elbows and lower your palms down towards your heart center. You can find a subtle nod of your chin towards your chest. Close your eyes if that's okay. And then from here, just allow a subtle softening of shoulders, belly, and your glutes. Thank you everyone for showing up today. It was a real pleasure to get back online and see you guys and move through the class together. When you're ready, slowly start to lift your head, your neck through center, blink your eyes open,